Welcome to another Warhammer Fantasy review for the Orcs and Goblins army, the Orc Boar Chariot. Well, here it is. It's the new boxes, as you can see by the art. Interestingly enough, it's a very slim box. One of the slimmest ones for the fantasy range. Now let's see what comes inside. As you can see, pretty much only 2 sprues. Almost nothing is left. This is one for the chariot and the drivers, and these ones are for the boars. Now what's left? Only 2 panels to make the regular chariot, and this sort of ponytail for one of the drivers. Well, since there's pretty much nothing left to see here, let's go to the main event. Wow. Yeah, here it is. The Orc Chariot. As you can see, it's a pretty cool looking chariot. Now, what it is? The Orc Boar Chariot, it's a special choice in the Orcs and Goblins army. It's one of those pretty interesting units, due to the fact that a lot of people think it's actually kind of weak because it's cheap compared to pretty much every other chariot in the game. But it's actually pretty strong for the price, but it's a little bit tricky. Why? Well, let's start by the basics. First, the strongest part of the chariot, it's not the drivers or the actual hitting, it's the actual boars. Compared to the classic cow steeds, dark steeds, or the cold ones, which actually have a pretty decent strength and weapon skill, the boars actually have poor weapon skill, but have actually pretty good strength enough to break heavy armor. Of course, you have to charge. That's thanks to the Tusk Charger special rule. Now, the drivers. A lot of people complain that the drivers are actually pretty weak, thanks to the fact that orcs are actually kind of weak compared to the cows warriors that actually mount in other units. But you can actually buy an additional orc for an additional set of attack, and they can actually be equipped with spears. The usual chariot is equipped with 2 boars with an attack apiece, the actual chariot that has scythed wheels, that means an extra attack plus the 6 possible ones, 2 orcs equipped with choppas that everyone knows that while mounted are pretty much useless, and can be switched with spears, which gives you the extra strength bonus on the charge, which is a must. Like I mentioned before, you can additionally also buy an additional orc for an additional set of attacks, which actually makes pretty nasty unit. Now, how to use it? Well, the Orc Chariot can actually be used in 3 different ways. The regular chariot, which uses a special choice and nothing else, which actually I consider like a shotgun, which you shoot, you hope something dies, and well, you hope you hit something first. Now, it can actually be used as 3 other different things. As an Orc Big Boss Chariot, which I actually consider like shooting something, you can also miss. A Black Orc Chariot, which I consider a chainsaw. And a Savage Orc Chariot, which I consider a missile. Now, what kind of comparisons are those? Well, first, if you use it as a regular chariot, you're wasting a special choice part. Everyone knows that the orcs have a ton of selections, and it's best to try to put everything and use as less slots as possible. If you can actually save a slot by changing this one into a hero unit, better. Now, as a regular orc big boss, it's kind of a waste of a points. Why not just upgrade it to the other ones? First, upgrade it to Black Orc, like I mentioned, is kind of a chainsaw. Why? Because you can pretty much chop and rip everything, and has a staying power, thanks to the fact that everybody knows that Black Orcs have a pretty good resistance thanks to their armor. And, well, Black Orcs are cooler. Now, the Savage Orc, why a missile? Well, the problem is that's like a double-edged sword. Everybody knows that Savage Orcs have Frenzy. What that makes it more better? Well, frenzied boars. 2 attacks apiece with higher strength. You pretty much have the driver and the additional orc both frenzied. That makes a pretty nasty amount of attacks. But why a missile? Because it hits, it could hit very hard, but then it blows and that's it. As everybody knows, savage orcs are not known for their staying power. They can hit hard, they must attack everything because they're frenzied, but once they're being attacked back, they're pretty much as gone. That's why I recommend making it a Black Orc Chariot. But you may ask, Charlie, why not a war boss? Well, the question is, why waste a war boss on a chariot when you could use a wyvern or use one of the special characters? I don't know, why would you use that? You also have, playing in games that have lore choices, you have at least 3 hero ones. You might as well use one on a chariot and free up a special slot for something else, maybe more boar boys, who knows. Now, what's the abilities? Like I mentioned, scythed wheels, tusk charger. It has thick skinned, which makes the boars good. But now, let's see the actual miniature itself. As you can see, it's a pretty good looking unit. This one has been built as a command one. As you can see, this pole plus this icon are optional. The same goes with this panel, with this piece of thing. They're completely optional and may be switched by the other ones I showed you in the spruce. Now, the customization I made, I placed this icon, both of these shields, and I made helmets for the boars. Some interesting thing to notice about this one is you pretty much need green stuff. Why? Because the boars have huge gaps between their necks. Another thing to notice, there's a lot of problems fitting stuff together correctly in all these parts. You must use a lot of pressure and a pretty strong glue. Well, hope you like it. Remember, use it as a hero choice. Pointless to use it as a special one. That's it. Hopefully you like this review. If you liked it, please comment, rate and subscribe. Roar.